Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth, love, or success, while others struggle their whole lives without knowing why? In this video, we're diving deep into the ancient wisdom and powerful psychological techniques that can unlock the secrets to creating abundance in your life. Whether you're seeking financial prosperity, deeper relationships, or a stronger connection with your inner self, this video holds the key to transforming your reality. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell to avoid missing any videos. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like the video. You can help me continue spreading the Stoic. If you like the topic of this video, please comment on number 1. If you don't, please comment on number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's begin. Section 1. Romantic ones. Let's dive into this idea from a deeper, more personal perspective. Think about it for a second. What truly holds more value in your life? Is it something that's always there, easily within reach, or something rare, something you have to wait for, dream about, or maybe even work a little harder to obtain? The answer seems almost instinctive, doesn't it? It's the things that are scarce, fleeting, or just beyond our immediate grasp that ignite desire and appreciation within us. Scarcity, without question, breeds value. And this exact principle applies to relationships in ways that are often overlooked. Here's the thing, and it's so critical to understand. When you're constantly available to a woman, you strip away the mystery, the allure, the natural ebb and flow of attraction. Imagine for a moment if you're always there, always a text or call away, always present, always eager. It might seem like you're doing the right thing. After all, doesn't availability show how much you care? Isn't that what we're taught? But here's the harsh reality. The unexpected twist that throws off so many men. Being too available, too accessible, removes the very possibility of her missing you. When you're always within reach, something crucial gets lost. Your presence becomes routine, expected, and honestly, taken for granted. Contrast is what our minds crave, what we need to truly appreciate anything in life. Think about how much more you cherish a bright, sunny day after a week of gloomy rain, or how sacred a few moments of peace feel after the chaos of a long, demanding work week. The same principle applies to relationships. The absence of your presence creates a longing, a desire, an emotional pull that is so essential for attraction to grow. When you're not constantly available, you give her the space to feel your absence, to wonder where you are, to think about the moments you shared. And this is so powerful. Absence doesn't just create physical space. It builds emotional distance, the kind that allows her to reflect and truly appreciate the times you were together. She begins to miss you, not because of any grand gesture or something specific you said, but simply because you're not always there. Her mind will naturally drift towards the positive memories, amplifying the good and often overlooking the not-so-great moments. The beauty of memory is that it softens the rough edges, and without the constant reminders of your presence, she'll start to idealize you. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding human nature. Space gives her the chance to appreciate you more, to crave your presence, and to feel that attraction grow in your absence. But here's the sad truth. 95% of men, yes, even high-value men, completely miss this point. They get so wrapped up in the idea that availability equals interest, that being always on standby will win her over. They think that by always being there, texting nonstop, and agreeing to every plan, they're showing dedication. But in reality, they're missing the golden opportunity to let attraction build in their absence. They misunderstand what women crave in a relationship: a sense of space, a bit of mystery, a reason to miss you, to truly hold her attention. To be someone she longs for, you must master the art of balance. Be present but not overbearing. Show interest, but don't suffocate her with it. Give her room to miss you, and you'll find that the connection grows stronger, deeper, and more meaningful than if you were constantly in her face. Let's break this down for a moment. Imagine the scenario. The more accessible you are, the more predictable you become. And here's the brutal truth. Predictability kills excitement. It drains the tension that naturally fuels attraction. It might seem counterintuitive, but when you're always there, always available, the magic fades. There's no element of surprise, no sense of wonder about when she'll see you or hear from you next. Without that mystery, things start to feel flat. Even the most incredible high-value men with impressive status, wealth, or looks, can fall into this trap. They think these external attributes will be enough to hold her attention. But here's the real kicker. If there's no space, no opportunity for her to miss you, even those factors start to fade into the background. Think of it like this. You probably have a favorite food, right? Something you crave and can't wait to eat when the moment strikes. But now imagine if you had to eat that same meal, no matter how much you love it, every single day, for every single meal. After a while, that food you once adored would lose its appeal. You'd get tired of it. You'd start craving variety, something different to break the monotony. This is exactly what happens in relationships. When you're always around, the excitement, the novelty wears off. You become routine, and she starts to take your presence for granted without even realizing it. The key takeaway here is powerful. How do you create that vital space, the kind that keeps her interest and desire alive, without making her feel neglected or pushed away? It's a delicate balance, but it's one that you need to master if you want to maintain a thriving, passionate connection. You need to give her enough room to miss you, to wonder what you're up to reflect on the good times you had together when you're not always there. It creates a beautiful tension, a longing that keeps things fresh and exciting. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. At the same time, you don't want to disappear completely or make her feel like you're pulling away emotionally. It's about pacing, about knowing when to lean in and when to step back. The truth is, you don't have to be in her life every second of every day to be a significant part of it. The more you create moments of distance, the more she'll appreciate the time you spend together. It's about giving her just enough of you to leave her wanting more. Attraction thrives in that space between presence and absence. And the men who truly understand this are the ones who hold a woman's attention for the long haul. So, don't be afraid to take a step back now and then. Trust that in doing so, you're giving her and the relationship the room it needs to grow. Because at the end of the day, it's not the constant, overwhelming availability that creates lasting desire. It's the mystery, the subtle tension, the dance between closeness and distance that keeps the spark alive. The key to mastering this principle without coming across as distant or uninterested lies in finding that perfect balance between being available and creating space. It's not about playing mind games or making her chase after you out of frustration. It's about being intentional and mindful of how much time and energy you're investing in the relationship. Here's the reality. If you're always the one initiating conversations, making plans, or bending over backward to be around her, you'll eventually overwhelm her. Attraction isn't nurtured by being overbearing. It's cultivated in moments of reflection, curiosity, and longing. So, instead of constantly seeking her out, take a step back. Not because you're trying to manipulate the situation, but because you're genuinely invested in your own life. This is crucial. Focus on your passions, your own goals, and your personal growth. Whether it's building your business, working on your health, or learning new skills. These pursuits naturally create space between you and her. That space is where attraction breathes and thrives. She needs time to wonder about you, to think about what you're doing, and to feel your absence positively. When she starts missing you, she'll appreciate your presence even more when you're around. But this only works when your absence is genuine. Not a ploy to make her want you more, but a byproduct of the fulfilling life you're already living. The truth is, when you're busy improving yourself, she'll not only respect that, but she'll also be drawn to the strength and independence you exude. And here's where the magic happens. When you do spend time together, she'll value it more because it's not constant. She'll appreciate your attention because it feels earned, not expected. This is where real attraction is built, not in the hours spent constantly texting or being together every moment, but in the anticipation and excitement of reuniting after some time apart. It's the emotional space you give her that allows her to reflect on how much she enjoys being with you. And in those moments, the bond strengthens naturally and deeply. In the end, the secret isn't about playing hard to get. It's about living your life in a way that naturally creates room for her to miss you. It's about striking that delicate balance between being present and giving her the freedom to feel your absence. When you do this with sincerity, because you're truly focused on your journey, the attraction will build in ways that feel authentic and lasting. Section 2. The push-pull dynamic. Mastering emotional tension is a powerful skill in any relationship, and one of the most effective ways to do this is through the push-pull dynamic. This is not about mind games or manipulation, but about understanding the natural ebb and flow of attraction, how to keep the emotional energy alive between two people. The push-pull dynamic works by creating a balance between attention and space, which ultimately maintains emotional tension and keeps both people invested in the relationship. At its core, the push-pull dynamic is straightforward. The push is when you're actively engaging with her, flirting, showing interest, and making her feel valued and special. This is where you lay the foundation for emotional connection. The pull, on the other hand, is when you take a step back, giving her the space to reflect on those interactions and allowing her to wonder where she stands with you. It's this deliberate balance between giving and withholding attention that creates an emotional roller coaster, a ride that keeps people emotionally engaged and, quite frankly, hooked. Why does this work? Just take a look at the kind of entertainment people love: dramatic TV shows, reality series. They're all built on emotional ups and downs. It's not the calm, steady moments that keep people coming back for more. It's the unpredictable twists, the tension, and the uncertainty. And while a relationship is far from a soap opera, the same principle applies. When there's a sense of emotional unpredictability, it keeps things exciting, intriguing, and alive. In relationships, the push-pull dynamic operates by introducing just the right amount of uncertainty. When you push, you're showing her that you're genuinely interested. You're giving her attention, connecting with her, and showing her that she matters to you. But when you pull back, you give her a moment to wonder, how invested are you? Is she the only thing on your mind, or do you have other priorities too? This gentle tension keeps her engaged because it stirs emotions. She doesn't know exactly what to expect next, and that's where the intrigue lies. Now, it's important to note that this dynamic is not about leading her on or playing hard to get. It's about pacing. If you give everything away all at once, if you're constantly available, always texting her back immediately, and never giving her a moment to miss you, the tension evaporates. She knows exactly where she stands, and while that might feel good in the short term, over time, it eliminates the excitement, the emotional highs and lows that naturally build attraction. Let's say you're texting a woman regularly, and things are going well. You're building a strong connection, and she's clearly showing interest. Now, If you're always pushing, always available, always responding instantly, always initiating, you'll quickly remove any sense of mystery. She'll know exactly how you feel, and without any emotional pull, the dynamic becomes one-sided. She doesn't get the chance to wonder, to miss you, or to feel those little emotional pangs of uncertainty that keep her engaged. The key is balance. Push enough to show you care, to build rapport and connection. But pull back just enough to keep her wondering, to give her the space to reflect on how much she values your presence. When done right, the push-pull dynamic keeps the emotional tension alive, preventing the relationship from feeling too predictable or stale. It creates an environment where both people remain emotionally invested, curious, and excited about what's to come. In the end, mastering the push-pull dynamic is about maintaining that delicate balance of attention and space, allowing attraction to grow naturally without overwhelming or smothering the relationship. It's a rhythm that, once you understand, can keep the spark alive and thriving for the long term. While being consistently available might sound like a good thing, in reality, it can kill excitement. When you're always there, always responding immediately, there's no tension, no spark, and soon the relationship can begin to feel mundane. However, if you mix in some pull, maybe you don't reply right away, or you're genuinely busy with something else for a day or two, you create unpredictability. That unpredictability is powerful. It stirs curiosity, and she begins to wonder what you're up to. This simple act of stepping back triggers emotional engagement. Suddenly, she's thinking about you more, investing more of her emotional energy into figuring out where she stands, which keeps her interest alive. The beauty of the push-pull dynamic isn't just in its effectiveness during the initial stages of dating. It's essential for maintaining attraction in long-term relationships as well. Think about it. Even after months or years of being together, many relationships settle into predictable patterns. You both get comfortable. You both know each other's routines, and while stability is comforting, too much predictability can lead to complacency. You stop wondering about each other and stop missing each other in the same way. The excitement fades because everything feels routine. By continuing to apply the push-pull dynamic, you keep the emotional connection vibrant and fresh, even in long-term relationships. When she feels that hint of unpredictability, when there's always a little mystery in the air, it reminds her that you're not something to be taken for granted. It reintroduces excitement and anticipation into the relationship. And that spark is crucial for keeping attraction alive. Remember, true attraction isn't about being constantly available. It's about balance. If you're always there, there's no room for her to miss you or think about you when you're not around. But on the flip side, if you're too distant, she may start to feel disconnected or even lose interest. The push-pull dynamic is about finding that perfect sweet spot, a place where she's consistently engaged, emotionally invested, and excited about your next move. In a long-term relationship, maintaining this balance becomes even more important. It prevents the relationship from falling into a rut of predictability and ensures that both partners remain emotionally engaged and excited about one another. That sense of intrigue, the emotional highs and lows that come with not always knowing what's next, keeps the relationship alive and thriving. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Section 3. Self-sufficiency. The core of attraction lies in one of the most powerful qualities a man can possess, self-sufficiency. This goes far beyond financial stability or having a successful career. Self-sufficiency is about being emotionally independent, having a life that is rich and fulfilling outside of your relationship, and not depending on her to provide validation or happiness. Here's the raw truth. Women are naturally drawn to men who embody this trait. Why? Because a self-sufficient man isn't emotionally needy. He's not constantly seeking approval, and he doesn't rely on her to feel good about himself. This quiet confidence, the security in who he is, and the focus on his own goals and passions create a powerful, magnetic pull. Self-sufficiency is not about being distant or acting like you don't care. It's about cultivating a life so full and meaningful that you're not relying on anyone, especially her, to give it value. When you have your passions, ambitions, and interests, you become inherently attractive. You're driven by your purpose. And this autonomy is incredibly appealing because it shows her you're a man who is complete within himself. Let's say, for instance, you're focused on building a business or growing in your career. You're passionate about your work, and you throw yourself into it with determination and focus. This doesn't just show her that you have ambition. It tells her you're not waiting around for her to give your life meaning. You already have a purpose, and that makes you stand out. Similarly, taking care of your health and fitness sends a powerful message. When you prioritize your physical and mental well-being, you're showing her that you respect yourself. And here's the thing, self-respect is incredibly attractive. It signals discipline, confidence, and strength. When a man respects his body and mind, it demonstrates that he's in control of his life and capable of handling challenges. Women are naturally drawn to this kind of strength because it's a sign that you can protect and provide, not just materially, but emotionally and mentally as well. Self-sufficiency doesn't just make you attractive. It also creates a sense of stability and confidence that you'll find irresistible. When you're not constantly seeking her validation, she feels free to be herself around you without the pressure of always having to affirm your worth. And ironically, that emotional independence makes her want to invest more in the relationship. Why? Because she knows you don't need her to be whole. You choose to be with her, and that choice comes from a place of strength, not neediness. When you show her that you have a rich, full life of your own, it challenges her to meet you at that level. She'll see you as someone secure, confident, and grounded, and that naturally deepens her attraction. She'll admire your self-discipline, your commitment to growth, and your ability to stand on your own 2 feet. This kind of self-sufficiency, the kind that comes from living with purpose and taking care of yourself, radiates a quiet, unshakable confidence that is undeniably magnetic. The power of self-sufficiency in creating attraction is undeniable. One of the reasons it's such an effective tool is because it naturally makes you less available. You're not glued to your phone, constantly texting, calling, or seeking her attention. You're too busy living your life, focusing on your goals, passions, and ambitions, and that immediately makes you more intriguing. Self-sufficient men don't chase after women or desperately crave their validation. And this lack of neediness is something women find incredibly refreshing and magnetic. Most men do the opposite. They seek approval constantly, trying to please her every minute of the day, making themselves available at all hours, and hoping that this will win her affection. But when you're emotionally independent, you stand out like a breath of fresh air. You're not one of those guys who's clinging for attention. And this is when something interesting happens. She starts to miss you. When she realizes you don't need her to be happy, that you're completely content and fulfilled in your own life, it flips the dynamic. Instead of you chasing her, she begins to crave being part of your world. She starts seeking your attention because, deep down, it's incredibly attractive to see a man who is happy on his own, someone who doesn't rely on her presence for his sense of self-worth. The key here is that when you're not constantly in her space, it creates a vacuum, a space where she starts to wonder about you, to miss you, and in that emotional space, her attraction builds. She starts to appreciate your independence, your focus, and your confidence. In a world full of men who are always seeking validation, you become the one man who stands out by simply living your life on your terms. That's when she truly begins to seek your attention, not because you're trying to earn it, but because you've shown her that you don't need it to thrive. That's real power. Section 4. The psychological trigger of uncertainty. Uncertainty is the secret weapon when it comes to creating powerful attraction. While most people are wired to seek certainty, especially in relationships, it's the moments of unpredictability that ignite the strongest emotional responses. This concept, known as intermittent reinforcement, is one of the most potent psychological triggers. Think of it like gambling. People don't know when they'll win, but that unpredictability keeps them hooked, invested, and emotionally engaged, always hoping for that next high. The same principle applies in relationships. When you're unpredictable, the emotional tension builds, and with it, so does attraction. In relationships, consistency can be comforting, but too much of it can kill the spark. When you're always available, always texting back immediately, and always making plans, there's no room for mystery and no emotional tension to keep things exciting. On the other hand, a little uncertainty introduces an element of excitement. When she's not entirely sure what's coming next, whether you'll surprise her with a spontaneous date or if you're busy focusing on your personal goals, it keeps her emotionally invested. She starts wondering what you're thinking when she'll hear from you next and what you're up to. This keeps the relationship dynamic and fresh, without crossing the line into flakiness or manipulation. So, how do you use uncertainty to your advantage? It's not about being unreliable or playing games. It's about introducing a healthy amount of unpredictability to keep her guessing, in a good way. One week you might take her on an unexpected adventure. The next week you're focused on your career or personal development. This ebb and flow of attention and focus keeps her on her toes, constantly thinking about you, which in turn deepens her emotional connection to you. The key is to maintain a balance, showing her that you're invested, but not predictable. Why does uncertainty make her miss you? When she knows exactly what to expect from you, whether it's daily texts, regular dates, or always being available, there's no room for her mind to wander. But when you introduce a bit of unpredictability, her brain starts working overtime. She starts thinking about you more often, wondering when she'll see you next, and trying to figure out where she stands with you. This mental loop is powerful. It creates an emotional attachment because her brain craves resolution. And the more she thinks about you, the more she misses you. It's the same reason why people get hooked on TV shows with cliffhangers. The suspense, the unresolved tension, it keeps you thinking about it long after the episode ends. The brain hates loose ends, and it stays engaged until it gets the closure it craves. In relationships, a bit of uncertainty works the same way. By keeping her guessing in a respectful and balanced way, you keep her thinking about you, and that's where attraction starts to deepen and solidify. So, what have you learned so far? We've covered the essential elements of attraction, from the power of self-sufficiency, the art of creating emotional tension, to the secret weapon of uncertainty. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below with one thing that stood out to you the most, and how you plan to put it into practice in your own life. Your insights and experiences can inspire others too. If you like this video, don't forget to leave your comment below. Hit that like button, share it with others, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more valuable content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.